Hi there, good afternoon. My name is Dr. Sarah Thompson, and I'm the dramaturg for this production of These Shining Lives with Women's Theater Festival. We are very excited to have our awesome guests today. We have Payal Nanjiani, I'm so sorry, I practiced and practiced, and Marsha Olson. So these are some prominent businesswomen in the Triangle area. They work with business and professional women of the Triangle, and they're going to talk to us a little bit about some of the themes of women in the workplace, professional women, and the challenges that they face today, and hopefully maybe get a chance to talk a little bit about how that relates to the play that you've just seen, because obviously these women were some of the pioneers for those of us who now happily have these careers. So Payal Nanjiani is an international motivational speaker. She's a leadership trainer and business and leadership coach. She's globally known for her leadership through the mind, for creating corporate and business excellence. And Marsha is a strategy, technology, and business leader, and she helps companies build product teams that drive successful software product portfolios and services. So thank you so much for being here. Payal, we'll start with you. So in your career, have you had to combat gendered stereotypes in your roles as a leader? And if so, what have you found to be your most successful techniques for doing that?
First of all, thank you so much, Sarah, for having us here, and thank you to everyone who is here today, for all the audience. And it's a pleasure being amongst women leaders. It always empowers me. So thank you for that. And coming back to your question, yes, I have had that opportunity to go through all that struggle and everything. In fact, I will draw from my professional example. And this was early on in my career where I was hired to set up the HR department of restaurant industry in Bombay in India. And as you may know, a restaurant industry, hotel industry is predominantly male oriented. So, little did I know that I had set myself up for, dealing with men of different ages, intellectuals, dealing with the ego of the men for whom it was very hard to accept and follow instructions from women leaders. So that was a resistance. And then the union and all the vendors, when you take interviews, it's with the men. So not only did I overcome that struggle and survived, I in fact succeeded in doing what I did there, set up their HR department, moved ahead, and in turn that became one of my most cherished jobs. I built relationships back then there, which are lasting and even there today. Now, coming back to your second part of the question, how was it done? So it was not easy, it was difficult, you had to cross the obstacles. There were many approaches that I had to use, but let me share with you one of the approaches. So, early on, I was very aware that if I am working in a male-dominated industry, I really cannot just move ahead based on my skills. So, I had completed my MBA, and I knew I had to go beyond that. So an approach that I used, which applied, and I still remember that, is energy conservation. To succeed in anything, you need energy, right? And somewhere in my head, I always had that belief that men and women are both born to achieve, and they have to be successful. And another part of me also knew that we all have infinite energy within us. Now, it's a choice where we use that energy. So what I did is, to navigate through those struggles, I took a different route. I decided, instead of, being victimized and feeling guilty and, looking at all the struggles of the industry and, sabotaging myself or making myself feel, low and guilty about things, I decided to take another route where I put all that infinite energy I believed in into ideas, into moving ahead. And what that did for me is, it actually opened up my mind to new ideas, to more strategies, to solutions, and it put me away from thinking about the struggles a male-dominated industry could have. In turn, I became known for my value in the company, not because of a woman or a man, but just the value that you bring in a company. And that made me, come more, get more acquainted with the CEO of the company. Together we moved ahead, and it really opened up doors which I think may have not opened up had I focused on those aspects. So for me, it was like that energy conservation that it got into it.
Yeah, that's really helpful. Thank
Uh-huh.
you. Thank you for that. Going off of that today, as you continue in your career and as you see the women around you working, what do you think is the biggest challenge that women face in the workforce today?
If I was to keep aside challenges like the equity or the harassment issues or advocacy, if I would just park that aside for some time, I think apart from the external issues that we women are facing, there is one big challenge that women are facing today, and that is elevating their internal self-power. Right? So when I say elevating your internal self-power, what I mean is, we all have a lot of self-power within us. And for women, when I have been coaching so many women across the globe, what I have noticed is this has become as one of the major roadblocks today for their success. And the reason, and we see it every day. And how do we see it? Women tend to give credit to everybody else for their success. Okay, they make sure that they are, taking the responsibility for everything that happens around them. They are not speaking louder and bolder the way they want to feel. And in fact, that it keeps fluctuating. And when I say it keeps fluctuating, it's like when you're at workplace and your boss says you're an awesome manager. Okay, your self-power goes up like this. And when you come back home and your kids are, complaining that, hey mom, you did not come to any of our school lunches, there goes the self-power in guilt. And then, when the husband or anyone else would be like, you need to pay more attention to the house front. And then again, we are adjusting our self-power. So what we women have done is, we have started to give the remote control to everybody to make us feel happy, successful, to make us feel guilty, or to make us feel really strong enough. And we are not snatching that back and keeping it to ourselves. So I think if, as women, to deal with the external issues, and we saw it in this play too, there were external issues that need to be dealt first internally. So if the self-power of women is here, any external issues can be dealt more simply.
Excellent. Yeah. That's helpful. I teach public speaking in higher education, and I work with university women, and one of the things that we work on with these young women is you've got to feel proud of yourself and confident inside. And once you do that, other things fall into place.
Absolutely. It just brings you up to that platform where everything else doesn't look like a struggle, or it doesn't look like it has to be done. It just looks like it's an obstacle and I cross it. So,
Awesome. Thank you. We've got to keep working and doing our research, right? Thank you so much. We want to give a big shout out to the business and professional women of the Triangle. Thank you so much to Payal and Marcia. We're so grateful for your time and your thoughts and ideas. I know I've come away with lots of great new information.
Thank you. Thank you.
So thank you so much for being here. Thank you.
Thank you.